What is up, everybody? Monster Gym Fanatic here, back again with another video. And as a majority of you guys may know by now, this past Thursday we lost a longtime veteran in the monster truck industry, and that person is none other than Scott Hertzog. Passed away Thursday night. I did not make a video on this, but a lot of people here on YouTube did, and I did pay my respects on Instagram. But today I thought about doing something a little bit different than just a little tribute video. I wanted to go over some of the monster gym drivers, the well-known drivers that we have lost over the years. Could be backdated to like the early 2000s or even 90s maybe. I wanted to go over some of the drivers that we have lost. Now, not every single driver that we have lost will be in this video. More of the well-known ones will be, but just know that there are a lot of drivers that died in the 80s and 90s that which we never even knew. I mean, majority of us weren't even born back then, so it just wasn't as known, and they weren't as well-known drivers themselves. With that said, I want to go over some of the monster gym drivers that we have tragically lost over the years. We are starting off with Winston. Not a lot of you guys may know who this is, but he used to drive Inferno, believe it or not, in the 2003 Monster Jam season. Yes, the Inferno truck. A lot of you guys may know Inferno by the diecast truck, one of the most rarest Monster Jam diecast trucks released in the earlier times, and not a lot of people know this truck actually performed in real life. It performed one time in an encore in East Rutherford in 2013 with FDNY, which is Fire Department of New York. It was a cool encore. That was the only time that they debuted that, or they showed that new Inferno that we got, but the older Inferno that looks like Nitro Machine even drove Monster Mutt a little bit in the 2004 through 2006 season for Monster Jam, and his wife sadly posted on Instagram back in January of 2017 that he had tragically passed away. I don't know exactly why, but I do know in his legacy they did donate some stuff to the St. Jude Children's Hospital, so that was a very, very nice of them in his legacy. Very awesome. Tragically, we lost him in 2017. Next up is Tom Hertzog. I believe that's how you pronounce it. He was the driver of the Midnight Rider truck for a long time. I think he stopped in 2018 maybe, but in 2019, mid 2019, he passed away. I don't know exactly why he passed away. He wasn't old. This man was like maybe 30 or 40 years old, and I remember when this dude died, like the day he died. I never met him, but he was a very good monster gym driver, and he had a really awesome looking monster truck. I love the Midnight Rider monster truck. I actually am not sure if it still performs, but I do remember the day he died, and it was a very sad day. It's always a sad day when we lose a driver, because, you know, we love these guys, and it sucks seeing them go like this, especially when it's like when they're young like this. Very, very sad, but he is the next person on our list. Now for the next person is a long-time veteran for the monster truck industry. He used to perform back in the 80s and 90s. He is Dave Marquardt. I actually have his trading card. If you guys don't know, they made like a bunch of nice old trading cards back in like the 90s for the trucks and the drivers, and I got basically all of them. I actually think I have 3 of these trading cards of just pictures of him, and they're hanging up on my wall with all the rest of them. And he died back in 2020. I don't know how he died as well. I don't know the cause of a lot of these guys' death, but just know it's very sad because these guys aren't even that old. Majority of these guys, only a couple of these guys passed on from old age or natural causes. But here is Dave Marquardt. He used to drive Excalibur back in the 80s and a little bit of the 90s for TNT Motors before Monster Jam was even Monster Jam. Sadly, he had passed away back in 2020, but he was based out of Toledo, Ohio, and he drove Excalibur, and I love the Excalibur monster truck, especially the vintage one, so that's very sad to hear. For the next driver here, I don't know why this truck always reminds me of Midnight Rider, the one that we just discussed, but here is the driver of Nasty Boy. His name is Ronnie Sturges. He died back in 2014, unfortunately, and he started driving in 2001. I'm not sure what he started out with. I don't think it was Nasty Boy, but the truck itself does look a bit like Midnight Rider. I don't know why it always reminds me. They kind of look similar to me, but I love both of the trucks. Never saw either of them, but yes, Ronnie Sturges died back in 2014. Very sad to hear. I don't know if this truck still runs now. I feel like it does because it's been since 2014, and I'm pretty sure I've seen this truck run in videos since then. But tell me in the comments below who the current driver is now, because I believe this was the original driver, but very sad to hear. Next driver was the driver of Desperado, the original driver, and this is probably why the truck doesn't really run that much anymore, why you probably don't see it that much. I haven't really seen it since 2013. I know we got the diecast version of it back in 2012, one of my favorite trucks from that year, and it is the Desperado monster truck. If you guys have been collecting or even into the sport in general for at least 8 or so years, you remember Desperado, and I remember seeing this truck not actually in real life, but compete in a lot of arena tours back in the day. But actually started driving the Dreamcatcher monster truck. I actually don't really remember that truck too well, but then he eventually drove Desperado in, I believe, 2013 in its last couple years. But yes, unfortunately, after he started driving in 2013, he passed away not too long after due to cancer. It sucks, but at least he lived a long, good life, I'm assuming, because he looks like he was an older gentleman, and I hope that he fulfilled his dreams by driving monster trucks. I mean, that's all I could ever ask for in life, is owning and driving a monster truck like he did. He drove multiples, so hopefully he got everything that he wanted in life. This is one that shocked the whole Monster Jam community when it happened, and basically just because this dude was so young and he had so much potential, and at the time he was in the Triple Threat series for Monster Jam and he was doing so amazing. This is Dalton Milikan. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this dude. He used to be a pro ATV driver, lived in Tennessee, and back in 2015 in World Final 16 he actually was in the Young Gun shootout, but in August of 2015 he was killed from a single rider motorcycle crash near his house. He rolled his motorcycle too fast around a curve and sadly hit a tree, and they could not save him, sadly. Tragic loss, probably the biggest loss for me as a Monster Jam fan. It hit me hardest because I really liked Dalton Milikan, and it was very sad when I heard the news, and it was very sad for everyone, really, because I remember how tragic that was. Everyone was sobbing that day. It was a very, very sad day. Everyone was mourning, but very sad seeing him go. And for this next guy, another guy who I knew had a lot of potential, back in 2011, this guy Nick Owens debuted in Iron Outlaw. He debuted in the Matte Black Iron Outlaw, and he only ran for one season because sadly August 13th 2011 he had passed away. But look at this man's gravestone. That is a beautiful gravestone. Whoever made that is awesome. Very, very awesome gravestone from Kansas. And I didn't know the dude too well. I mean, I wasn't even hardly into Monster Jam at the time. I was just too young to, you know, even be on social media to even hear or know about his passing. But yes, he drove Iron Outlaw one season and sadly died his first year of monster truck driving. Very sad. Now for another Blue Thunder driver, I told you about Dalton Milikan. Here was another tragic passing that happened not too long after Dalton Milikan's death. Back in 2015, we lost Tony Farrel, who was the creator of the Wild Thing monster truck. Once again, if you were a longer time fan, I'm not gonna say long time fan, because Wild Thing, that truck is a pretty popular truck, doesn't run too much anymore, but he was the creator of Wild Thing in 1996, but then went on to drive the Built for Tough Blue Thunder. But sadly in 2015 he was struck by a drunk driver outside a concert near his home in Tennessee. The drunk driver was later sentenced to 6 years in prison, but doesn't mean anything because we still lost him, and it was very sad because he was a definite veteran and he was an amazing driver. This one also hit me pretty hard, but may he rest in peace. For the next one, this is actually the only one on the list that I've personally met, and I actually talked to him for a little bit back in Charlottesville for this independent monster truck tour back in 2014. This is Maxi Bross. He was the original driver of Walking Tall. This truck does still run. I forget who drives it though. I think different drivers drive it on and off. It's kind of like that truck that gets passed around with different drivers, I believe. I could be wrong. It could be one driver, but I don't really pay attention anymore. Ever since he died, I don't really pay attention to the Walking Tall monster truck, but I actually did get his autograph back in 2014. But sadly, Maxi Bross passed away December 31st in 2015 from an unknown health condition. I mean, we don't know about it. The family probably does, but don't want to reveal it, but that's totally fine. It's very sad to see him go, especially for me as well. Like I said, it's the only dude that I met on this list. And but that brings me to the next person that is on this list, and that is none other than Scott Hertzog, like we talked about at the beginning of the video. He was a very long time veteran, started driving a gunslinger back in 1992, and I was actually about to meet him for the first time at Monsters on the Beach. It was going to be in October this year. The day that he passed away, I think they rescheduled the Monsters on the Beach event to May, which is the normal date for Monsters on the Beach, but with COVID they scheduled it later this year in October. But it will be in May of 2022 now, I'm guessing, because of his passing, because they changed the date the day he passed away, Friday. I mean, Scott Hertzog in Gunslinger will be missed dearly. I love this guy. Grew up watching him on Monster Jam with all those other veterans, and very sad to see him go. Very, very sad. Probably the biggest passing that we've had in quite some time, at least a couple years. Very sad to see him go, because he was a very nice and down-to-earth dude from what I hear.
On a mission. Ladies and gentlemen, how about it for Scotty Hertzog in the Gunslinger?
Here we come.
So we're closing on the final two people now. This next one, he lived right up the road from me in Hagerstown, Maryland. This is Mike Thompson. He died back in 2019 in August, and he sadly passed away. I'd never met him, but I did see him drive, I think, twice in Fishersville, Virginia, another independent Monster Jam show. Definitely, obviously, a part of Team Scream. I saw him along with Jim Kohler and all of them. But yes, he will be missed dearly. I love this dude, and he seemed like a very nice person as well. And for the final person we have the mini monster truck whiz himself, Kid KJ. This was a guy that died a couple years ago, I believe, a year and a half ago. I don't know the exact date. I didn't see anything about him on Wiki like I have with all these other guys, but I do remember when this guy died. I remember I did make a tribute video for him. He was only, I think he was my age, so maybe 16, maybe a little older, maybe 17 or 18. He definitely had a long life to live, and I believe he got killed in a car accident, sadly. I'm very sad to see him go because he was the mini monster truck whiz. He was the youngest person on this list as well. Like I said, he was still in his teens, but very sad to see him go. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me if you guys have met any of these people. I've met one of them, and then I've seen a couple of them actually race. So with that said, hope you guys enjoy. Once again, please like, comment, and of course subscribe. I would very much appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Once again, rest in peace to Scott Hertzog, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.